This is video of my Himalayan Snowcock hunt in the Ruby Mountains of Nevada, September 2023. This is all cell phone footage from myself and the guides. I didn't dare take my GoPro because I didn't want it to cost me a shot at a once-in-a-lifetime bird. I did end up getting a bird, but I do not have footage of me actually shooting the bird, although I do have some footage of me with the bird just after shooting it. As you can see, the Ruby Mountains are absolutely beautiful. This was a physically and emotionally grueling hunt. I was obviously guided, and for those of you that do the hunt unguided, I tip my hat to you. This hunt was 6 days, 1 day of packing in, 4 days of hunting, and 1 day of packing out. On day 1, we packed in, got camp set up, and then spent the whole evening glassing surrounding mountains for birds and did not see a single bird. Day 2, which is the first full day of hunting, we got up and glassed and did not see anything. Then we climbed a mountain, walked around the whole day, stopping to glass the whole day, and did not see a single bird the whole day. When I say we had to climb a mountain, I minimized things. I thought I was in pretty decent shape going into this hunt. I'm 54 and 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, and I had trained and worked out for a year trying to prepare for this hunt. There's no way to prepare for the altitude change, though. I live at 800 feet, and we were hunting at 10,000 feet, and it was absolutely grueling going up those mountains. The guides climbed up the mountain like it was nothing. I had to stop at least 5 times and was diaphoretic, pale, sweating, breathing like a fish out of water. Day 2, we hiked across a terrible boulder field to a different mountain and spent the first hour glassing for birds, didn't see anything, got up to move, and about 15 birds bailed off the top of the mountain. The sound those birds made was something I'll never forget and truly a wilderness experience. We spent the rest of day 2 climbing all over that mountain, glassing, but never could relocate the birds. Day 3, we rode horses to a different mountain, and right off, when we were glassing, I spotted a big male silhouetted at the top of the mountain. We made a stalk up the mountain to try to get him, but when we got there, he was nowhere to be seen. We spent the rest of that day climbing the mountain, glassing, looking around, and never saw that bird or any other birds. So now I've hunted for 3 full days and not even been remotely close to getting a shot at a bird. To say I was physically and emotionally drained would be an understatement. A lot of this footage is me sneaking up over ridges and chutes trying to ambush a bird. It has been successful in the past, but it was not successful for us on this hunt. I am strictly a bird hunter. I do not big game hunt, don't know anything about it. But the people I know that do it tell me that goat hunting is one of the hardest hunts there is. And every day we saw goats below us.
Probably follow the same trail.
There they go.
I did not like this part one bit. The video does not do this justice as to how steep and treacherous this was. The guides just walked across it like they were walking in the park, but I just about didn't want to cross it because I was too scared of heights. Day 4, the last day of hunting, we decided to go back to the mountain that we had seen birds at on the second day. We hiked all the way over there and started glassing, and sure enough, the birds busted us again and flew off the top of the mountain. They are extremely wary. We spent the rest of the morning and early afternoon looking for the birds, and we finally relocated them. We climbed all the way down the mountain and spent several hours looking for the birds, but could not locate them. So we climbed all the way back up the mountain again, and then one of the guides looked and happened to spot the birds about 200 yards from where we had been. At that point, when we got to the top of the mountain, our intent was to climb over the mountain and go back to camp because we only had about an hour of sunlight left. When they spotted the birds, I had all but given up and was ready to head back to camp, but the guides strongly encouraged me to go back down there, and I'm glad they did, because we did climb down there and sure enough got up a covey of about 12 snowcock, and I picked out a bird just as it flew behind a tree and fired and blew a limb off the tree, but fortunately my shot was true and the bird was laying about 12 yards beyond, stone dead.
How beautiful is that? Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you, guys. You can tell that I'm actually in shock that I actually got a bird with about an hour left in the hunt. I get asked about this hunt a lot. Everyone wants to know about snowcock hunting. Mostly people want to know if they can do the trip on their own without a guide. And here's my 2 cents. If you live in the area or even within a few hours of the area and can spend weekends and vacations hiking and exploring in the Ruby Mountains, or even if you can dedicate a couple weeks a year for a few years to learning the trails and the lakes and the springs and the water sources and the camping spots and find out where the birds like to hang out, then it's definitely doable on your own. If you cannot, then you are definitely at a disadvantage. And if you can afford it, you should consider going guided. I live a long ways away and barely above sea level, and so I decided to go guided, and I'm glad I did. I had a good experience with my guides. That being said, if you decide to go guided, you shouldn't expect to get off the couch and go and have your guide point out a bird for you and shoot it. It's an extremely challenging hunt, even if you are guided. I spent several years researching the bird, reading everything I could on the internet, in magazines, listening to podcasts. I spent a full year working out and preparing my body for the hunt. I spent a lot of time researching the right equipment to use: boots, vest, clothes, sleeping bag. I spent time patterning my gun, finding the right loads, etc. It was quite an experience, to say the least.